Living in a slum community in the southern part of Nigeria, seeing children in the roadside begging, walking carelessly, without education, I feel really sad and really bad. My name is Belemasiru Bamson, and I'm representing Oyo State. My project is titled Slum to Grace. Slum to Grace is all about the slum children in the communities, in the slum part of the community in River State. Slum to Grace is helping those children in the slum area for education, those mesmerized children in the area for the slum communities by providing access to education, empowerment through life skills, community engagement, and capacity building, providing access to education whereby collaborating with schools in the slum areas for those children, and empowerment through life skill by teaching them skills and healthcare for them, and for that, if they can't go to school, at least they will have the knowledge on how to make money by talent, maybe sewing, bead making, and all of that. Community engagement by engaging with the chairman in some communities to announce to the community that this kind of empowerment is going on, so they will be informed and they can actually partake in it. The problem statement is lack of access to quality education, high dropout rates, limited resources and infrastructure, poverty and economic disadvantage, social and cultural barriers, lack of support and mentorship. These are all the problems in the slum communities in the southern part of Nigeria. My project, I will be using the sum of 500,000 naira to accomplish this project, and I will start up with my money for this year to make this project work, and with the support of NGOs and the Masters of Nigeria Pageant. Thank you.
So, talking about marginalized communities and kids, right? How long have you worked in one?
I have actually not worked yet, but I want to do this.
So you've never carried out this project?
Yes.
I do happen to know that you are a pageant king. What was your project when you were a king?
When I was a king, my project was to help those children.
Okay, so what change will you say you've been able to implement between then and now?
Okay, back then I was still in school and the stress and everything was much, but now I'm done. So I think I want to do this now that I'm done and I'm free.
And you've never worked with an NGO on something like this?
I have worked with my community NGO on something like this before.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm not here to sell you a project that would require so much. I'm here to sell you something that has been part of my life. I'm here to sell you experience. Groom the young, that is my project. Imagine growing up in a place where you are being marginalized for not being able to afford the basics of life. You go to school and then what you get is a sort of marginalization because you feel you are not up to the standard of this place. And then you lose your self-esteem, your self-worth, and all that. That is my story. And that is why I've come with you with something that I think has got so much to do with raising a child in a way they grow up to become future kings and queens. Hence my project, Groom Them Young, raising future kings and queens. It's very simple. If we have kids out there who don't have access to education and we have the whole world promising them education, NGOs promising to do this or do that, that they would not fulfill at the end of the day. Do we let these children die? Do we let them go astray? Do we just let them live their life like that? No. This is the project. We engage these children in ways that they can become kings in different ways in life. Kindly move over to the next slide, please. Objective. Our objective here is to empower skill development. If we provide workshop and training sessions that equip young people with essential skills such as leadership, public speaking, critical thinking, and problem solving, these skills are crucial for personal and professional success. Yes, not everyone has access to education, but then skills are a relevant aspect of life that could actually bring you to becoming whoever it is you want to be. So if we start by making this our core value, empowering, educating, and then creating platforms for our children at an early age to start off with, I can tell you that when they get to the age of adulthood, they definitely would make a useful life despite how they started. That is the project, Groom Them Young. I know you must be wondering, how do we get this to start? It's very simple.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rivers. Your time is up. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Mr. Calvin Okize. I'm proudly representing Abia State for the ongoing Visitors of Nigeria 2024. My advocacy is all about the less privileged children. First, who are the less privileged children? The less privileged children are the children that are denied the basic necessities of life, such as shelter, health, food, and all of that. And why did I choose advocating for the less privileged children as my advocacy? I've been a lover of children from the onset. As a matter of fact, my grandparents have a daycare center, Diamond Daycare Center. Firstly, I will talk who are the destitute children. Destitute children are children that are denied the. Destitute children are children. Permit me to read from my book. Faith made most children to live, but denied the basic necessities of life. Some are orphans. They were born by parents, others subjections. Among them are also called unwanted children, born and dumped inside gutters. Some were picked by hunters who aren't lovers of children. The destitute children are children who live what apart from comfortable people. The destitute children are also children. They are also children like we. They are also children like we. They have destiny to fulfill. They have a mandate to fulfill in life. They are also children like we. They are also people like we that have body and soul just like we. I would like to tell you the definition of glorious child. Glorious is something beautiful and impressive. Future is the period of time that will come and present of the things that will happen there. Advocacy. What is the meaning of advocacy? Advocacy is defined as an action that speaks in favor of something or recommend or support. What are the problems that we face in the country affecting the destitute children? 1. Harsh economy. 2. Social status discrimination. Selfishness of the most of the rich. Let me explain for you what it is. Most times, people hide under the excuse of the wonky ones of the global economy to refuse to help destitute ones. Most times you start hearing the economy is bad, I cannot render help to anybody, the economy is bad. But I'd just like you to know that You don't really need to have the whole world to render help to people, just like the less privileged children. You can just give out arms, just like what we did last few days ago when we went to visit the orphanage. Those are kind of people that we call the less privileged children. That was what MON did. We were able to render to them, not financially, but at least materially. We gave them some materialistic things, resources that will at least last them for a couple of months. And I know we are not the only organization that does that. Other people too does that. Thank you.
By involving with non-government organization, raising some community services, by helping, by I have so many things stored here.
Yeah. I plan on collaborating because I already have something in mind already that I'm working with. I plan on collaborating with so many organizations. I shall partner with potential people like NGOs, Save the Child Foundation, etc., who shall synergize with me to provide health care centers, local schools, and businesses.
Mr. Abia,
Yes, sir.
have you done a project like this before?
This is actually my first.
This is your first. How much is it supposed to cost?
Sir?
How much is this project supposed to cost?
Okay, no, this advocacy for the project. Yeah, I started it last
How
2
much
years.
is this supposed to cost?
I've spent roughly 500,000.
How much is this supposed to cost?
It's going to cost me precisely, according to what I have documented here, it's going to cost me for my primary project. It's going to cost me approximately 6 million naira to commence this.
To run, and this is supposed to run for how long?
This is going to run. It's going to run for as long as possible because I intend joining hands with my mom's church too, because we have a school and so
Thank you very much.
organization will be. Thank you very much.
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, judges. The ladies and gentlemen online. My name is Piers Chibuzimboke, Mr. Kaduna. And I'm making a presentation of my pet project, which is actually focused on youth. It is one thing to go to school, and it's another thing to have proper training through life that will guarantee success. A lot of people think it's all about the school. There are a lot of things that determines your success in life. Not everybody who goes to school becomes successful if you do not have proper training through mentors and through other means. So I have a plan to collaborate with MON, probably if I become an ambassador, probably through winning or other means, to create an ebook which will be titled Success Nuggets for Every Growing Youth. The aim is focused at attending to youths all over the world to impact our generation. Let me take you through the table of contents. Now we have self-discovery. A lot of people need to discover themselves. Who are you? That is the first step to success in life. A lot of people don't know why they came to this world. They do not know. They are confused. But the moment you discover who you are, is already 50% success. Secondly, we have dreams and visions. When you discover who you really are, you have great dreams. Thirdly, we have spiritual connection. Without proper connection with the spirit, you will not be able to understand what you are here for. Because most big dreams come from the heavens, through God, Taking action, avoiding procrastination. I used to be a great procrastinator. I usually do not take actions. I do not make my decisions on time. But right now I've changed. Most youth always procrastinate before doing things. The 5. Personal development. You need every reader, or rather, every leader is a reader. We have to encourage more youth to read so they can understand how this life works. Without reading, you cannot understand different facets of life. Like our beloved, one of our judge here, who is a good intellectual person, I noticed that you're very intellectual. I appreciate that. You know, without that, we cannot be here. If you're not well read, you can't be here. A lot of people lack such. 4, sorry. Okay. The next one, number 6, is building a mastermind. What is a mastermind? You have groups of people who you can develop yourself with, who share the same dream. Like all of us here, we have the same dreams. That's why we are here. We can work together, collaborate, so that we can grow faster. If you do things on your own, you may not go fast. The next one will take it faster.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaduna. Your time is up. All right. So quick question here. Have you ever published before?
Actually, I'm a motivational speaker. I speak to youth, and I had intentions of writing my own book.
So you've never published?
Not
a book, not a manuscript, nothing.
I write articles. I write things to people. I talk to people. So I have that intention to write, to be a writer soon.
Okay.
I have so much information.
So publishing an ebook,
yes.
How much is it going to cost you?
Little or no amount, because I could work with MOM if possible, or I could it might be on my own, because it's going to be online.
How much is it going to? Being online still requires money.
Yes.
How much is this task going to cost you?
An average of 250,000 naira to solve everything online, set up, and it should be spread out to different platforms on probably Amazon, different platforms online.
How long have you been speaking to people for?
For my life, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right.
My pet project, anti-bullies in secondary school and tertiary institutions, and ways to improve or completely stop bullying in schools like this. So if you ask me what is tertiary, that is basically like universities and colleges and all of that. And I believe we as humans, at some point, everyone in this room, we have encountered some type of bullying, if it's verbal or just any type of bullying. So in Nigeria here especially, do you think this issue can be solved? Just a question to anyone. Do you think bullies can be solved in institutions? You're going to school and you have someone in your class or something trying to bully you in some type of way. Do you think this issue can be solved? Just yes or no question.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. So that's true. This can be solved, and this could be solved by implementing strategies, and also by statistics. I'm not gonna go too deep into it. Recently we had a whole big thingy in a boarding school where there was fighting, someone beat up another kid, but I'm not really gonna get into that. I'm gonna get into how this can be solved. So the statistics and how common this issue is in Nigeria. While specific national statistics actually researched on this and everything, it says that 53.3% of students in Lagos report bullying, and they will not go up to their teacher and be like, oh, this boy is disturbing me, this person is disturbing me, or this person is trying to beat me up, this person corner me somewhere and all of that. They are scared to do that, right? So these forms of bullying that has been reported include physical bullying, verbal, social exclusion, and also cyberbullying. We all have social media, and you see how it is, where it's you post a picture and your head is big, someone is like, oh, your head is big. That's not something nice to say on social media, but people are out there saying it. And also physical bullying, just like what I said, people criminals and all of that. And also, so cultural and social dynamics. So bullying in Nigerian schools often stems from power dynamics. Does anyone know what power dynamics is? So it's more of a class type of thing. The rich, middle class, and the poor. So it's you go to a school where you know that you don't really have money like that. People that have money, they'll they'll want to act like some type of way, which life should not really be like that. Like everyone is equal, all right? Alrighty, can you come down? And also, social, like economic.
Mr. Kwaiwom, thank you very much. Your time is up.
Please, can you be more audible for me, please?
I want you to explain how you intend to eradicate bullying.
Okay, so ways to prevent this type of bullying. The way I want to go about it is going to schools, going to let's say in Lagos right now, I could go to 5 institutions and actually implement some type of policies in the schools where it's if I had the time, can you go up for me, please? Up, down.
Mr. Kwaiwom, you have 30 more seconds.
Okay, down, please. I'm sorry. By education and clearing, support system, to provide counseling and support for both victims, to make policies in schools. And how will I make those policies? I will speak to a top government official to make this happen.
Thank you very much.
Marcus Garvey, a Jamaican political activist, in his quote quotes, "A people without the history of their, without the knowledge of their history, their origin is like a tree without a root." I am Ezehem Chinechire, representing Taraba State. One summer, when I was a teenager, my family and I visited Lagos. It was my first time visiting, and I was captivated by the culture of people of Lagos State and how they value their tourist centers. And this vested my advocacy, cultural preservation and sustainable tourism, using Lagos State as a case study. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this based on some motivation, which I broke down into 4. Please, can you project it? Yes. Okay. Which I broke down into 4: the economics, the sustainability. I'll just be giving out 2. Then for the sustainability, I'll be using SDG number 11, which is sustainable cities and communities. I believe that the world will be a better place if we should preserve our culture. Although globalization has done a lot of damage and good on our cultural heritage, and this has affected my generation a lot. And this led me to writing a book, though it is yet to be published, My Young Culture. The content of this is, it has questions like, where am I from? What are the names of rivers in my village or community? Who is the community head? With this, they tend to know more about their culture. Just like I said before, globalization has made a lot of us forget our roots. We no longer value our culture. We have now adopted the Western culture, forgetting that our culture is who we are.
Thank you very much, Mr. Taraba.
Okay.
So, from what you said, because your documentation is quite scanty, so from what you said, you are insinuating that globalization is the main reason for cultural loss. So, what practical steps can we take or are you going to take with this project to get us back on track? You have 30 seconds.
Okay. First, well, like I said earlier, I I'm working on a book yet to be published. My young culture. I'll be giving it out to children because there's this saying that says catch them young. Once given to children, they get to know the origin of their culture. And with this, I am bringing them back to their history. Also, my team and I plan on creating a cultural group in secondary school, which we are giving out data to schools like Lagos, Methodist Girls.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Mwanja Guchnemer Samo.
Mr. Anambra, Mr. of Nigeria 2024. And my project is Healing Africa, transforming healthcare systems in Africa with the use of a mobile health application. Over the years, Africa is faced with limited access to healthcare information and inadequate emergency services. Many individuals struggle to get access to reliable health information in order to be able to make informed decisions about their health. And this has led to unnecessary deaths in Africa. With my knowledge in technology and my passion for health and fitness, birthed this project, Healing Africa. Healing Africa is committed to leveraging the use of technology to improve healthcare accessibility and empower Africans to take control of their health. We aim to reduce mortalities due to carelessness and ignorance in Africa by providing accessible healthcare information to the users. Our app will offer a lot of things to the users, which includes personalized healthcare information and also recommendations based on their inputs and preferences. So you might be wondering, how do I intend to solve this problem? Well, CareLink Africa will inculcate the use of advanced algorithms, artificial intelligence, and data analysis to be able to solve this problem. So we offer solutions like offering a comprehensive database of health information which stores users' symptoms and previous treatments. Secondly, we will also embed a GPS-enabled emergency response system to connect users with nearest health facilities. Thirdly, we will also make sure that virtual consultations is embedded in the app, which will bridge the gap between users from getting access to healthcare facilities and, more importantly, with licensed professionals. To be able to execute this project, we're looking around to get a total investment of $350,000 to be able to commence this project. Looking at our world today, there is a strong need for a user-friendly app that can be able to help users to achieve this. And because of this project, it will reach not just in Nigeria, but also Africa and the world at large. So I encourage capable investors to invest in this business and let us transform Africa and its healthcare systems. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Number. So quick question, I happen to have done something like what you did for my degree coursework in school, but that was based on corona tracing, right? And what I want to ask is, do you have a team of programmers working on this?
Yes.
Have you done something like this before?
Yes, I've done something like this before.
So you're saying with $500 million, approximately $500 million, this will be running?
Yes.
Including getting your licenses from, what's it called? Both the emergency system in Nigeria, that's our 112, getting identification numbers from NIMC and all of those. $500 million will do this. And you've carried something else like this before?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Oyenike Daniel Zakastina, and the title of my pet project is Health and Wellness. This presentation is about a pet project that aims to promote health and wellness among young Nigerians. Health and wellness is very crucial for our future. of individuals and communities. This pet project focuses on young individuals and their family, about their healthy lifestyle and human and anti-trafficking. As an advocate fighting against human trafficking, I have realized that there are a lot of people who have fallen victim of human trafficking. You see a little girl of about 15 years used as molested as an animal, used as anything people want to do with them. You see young boys who are supposed to be schooling being sold as a material thing. And this is quite unfair because they leave without knowing what they are going to do there. Next slide, please. So my objectives are to raise awareness about the importance of health for Nigerians through seminars, events, campaigns, and collaboration with influencers and celebrities. God helping me, I have about 60,000 followers as an upcoming influencer, and I have friends who are also influencing. And this will give a very, very good publicity to create an awareness for this pet project. And second one is promote education by collaborating with organizations, schools, community centers, and healthcare providers to offer educational programs on nutrition, exercise, and mental health. A lot of people don't know how to eat properly and live healthy. That's why exercise is very essential. This pet project is not just about the physical health of an individual, but also the mental health of an individual. Build a supportive environment by encouraging open communication, empathy, and constructive feedback. Like I said earlier about the human trafficking that has been going on in this country. There's a lot of people that have fallen victim on this particular illegal activities, but due to there is nobody for them to speak up to, they've not confided in anyone to speak and say their mind of what they've been through, because there is no empathy. There's no one is ready to listen to you. Once you say, okay, this is what I've gone through, they just bullshit you and all of that. But once you create a supportive environment for people to confide in you, tell you their story, and seek help from your corner, it will be very easy for them to open up to you. Next slide, please. How do I implement this plan? Collaboration with schools, utilize existing relationship and moral standing with previous school. Okay, this is saying that I graduated from secondary school of Elim Providence and primary school, Lagos, Nigeria. And I believe I have good morals to meet the management and tell them my vision about this pet project. Because I believe they will give me a listening ear, being their head boy during my stay in the school. Encourage schools to implement student-certain approaches that focuses on individual health and development. Schools need to start talking about some individual thing. Schools need to start talking about some individual
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Mr. Castina,
So,
I'm hearing human trafficking, I'm hearing preventable diseases, I'm hearing a lot of things. What is this project on?
this project is on health and wellness. Not just the physical health, but rather physical health and mental health.
When you start talking about human trafficking, we start talking about you open the doors to a lot of other things.
Yes.
So should I walk through that door with you?
The aspect of the human trafficking I'm talking about is when they are brutalized, when they face different abuse, sexual abuse, and have different kind of diseases. And have different kind of sickness. We aim to help them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Katsina.
In the words of Trace Sally, Miss World 2022 first runner-up, she said, "If you have a heartbeat, why then don't you have purpose?" I'm glad to say I have a purpose, and it's deeply rooted in what I will discuss today. Good evening, my esteemed judges, friends and families, and the MON class of 2024. My name is Ubokiri Favor, and I'm proudly representing Enugu State, the coal city. My project, as you may all know, as it's been going around for quite some time, is a 3D movement. The dream, there, do. And you might be asking, why this? I have been in the system for so long of mental health that it's become a part of me to actually talk about. As a boy who has gone places, at least 8 places in his life, having to relocate every semester, imagine what it does to that child's mental health. And this is not coming from facts or more from research, but from experience. And that's why I stand before you today to talk about the 3D movement. And the aim of this movement is simply to eradicate mental degradation in the society, especially amongst the youth. Now, you might be asking, how does he plan to go about it? It's quite simple, I tell you. We've got regional conventions, we've got fitness trainings, we've got pageant organizations and all that. And for a while now, I've got experience with this, as I've been done so many projects that is related to mental health. I've done lives with great people and spoken about mental health. I've gone live on televisions, Avia TV and even Silverbed, and talked about mental health and how this has caused great harm to the society. I've also organized pageantry for young boys and girls to teach them to express themselves in the best way possible. And for furtherance of this project, I would want to do a regional convention. With a budget of 1 billion naira, I'll be able to succeed with this project.
Thank you very much, Mr. Inobu.
Thank you.
What role can schools play in promoting mental health awareness, support for young people in our neighborhood?
Sorry, can you come again?
What role school education play in promoting health awareness?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can't hear me.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
What role can schools and education play in promoting mental health awareness and support for young people in our neighborhood?
One thing I've learned growing up is that school is a major factor, or can be a major factor in a child's life. And I've learned that with school, you are able to relate and communicate better. Unfortunately, many kids don't have this privilege. But how these schools and education can help with this is by enforcing the need to teach children how to express themselves. Thank you.
Good evening to fellow contestants, good evening judges, and good evening to everyone streaming live from every part of the world. I'm here to present a topic which is most times overlooked, but needs to be attended to. In the present world today we live in, there is a high and to some certain point low cultism push. It is most time overlooked, but it has eaten deep into the whole system. And I'm here with my advocacy to shed more light, given the chance of becoming the Minister of Nigeria and pushing on a good stand for things to get better. Okay. Firstly, cultism initially kickstarted with the pirate confraternity in the year 1952 by the most wonderful Wole Soyinka in the University of Ibadan back then. It initially kickstarted with the motive of having a student organization that will be able to stand for oppression and every other negative push on students. And on the long run, it grew into something very wild. In our present world today, we have a lot of confraternities that, most of us know and see. So I'm here to basically just talk about how we can combat this and what positive things can be fixed in to not just young men, but to also the well-educated and uneducated persons. So in the present world today, we have these people in every parastatal, everybody, every organization, and most times they don't join this confraternity on their own on their own view. It's either they are forcefully initiated, or due to the fact they've been oppressed at some point, they just see themselves getting involved with or in this confraternity movement. And if I'm given the chance and the opportunity to create a good and a standard body that would, as a non-government organization, that would be able to first off start by talking to these people, because the thing is, the change begins from me. I've not been into any, but the change begins from me. It is not going to be so easy to talk someone in or talk someone out of such a thing. But on the long run, and eventually with good conviction and good reasons, this person will see it with you and you'll be able to see the bad side of it. And it has actually caused a lot of damages, costing the lives and properties. I use my university as an example. A few weeks back, there was a...
Thank you very much, Mr. Ogun.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Ogun.
Yes, sir.
So I'm looking at your documentation.
Yes, sir.
And while it's very scanty, is void of experience information. So I'm going to ask, now when it comes to cultism and curbing it as a menace, a lot of people have done this, and I'm not going to lie, I went through it in Nigerian university. It's been done, it's been said, it's been rallied for, right? So my question is, what is different? What are you bringing new to help curb this? That is one. Two, what is involved in this project?
Okay, firstly, how I'm going about the advocacy is, as I said, the change begins from myself. I have the opportunity to meet this person one-on-one, talking to the person on a constant basis, not just myself, but with the team set up. And how do I go about making a change? Now, I go about making a change initially, as I said, for myself, and also on the long run, things get to switch for good, for a positive thought on this person. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ebuka Atuba, representing Bauchi State. And my pet project, which I have named Empower Naija, it's a youth empowerment pet project. So basically, it's an advocacy for youth empowerment to provide education, to promote education and empower the youth, and also advocate for health and wellness in the community of Nigeria. and equally supporting initiatives to improve social and environmental issues in Nigeria. So why this project? Also growing up, my father instilled in my siblings and I this the quality, or will I say the spirit of giving. He always says to me, and he says it every time, that what you have now, it's because of generosity. It's because I give. So better learn the act of giving. And he has instilled that in me from growing ever since I was little till now. And that has been a character in me. And that is why I have always been I've always tried to give out as much as I can in any little way that I can. So that's what this project is all about. Okay, so in the introduction, we all know the sorry state Nigeria is in right now, and one of the consequences of that state is youth illiteracy and youth unemployment. And going down to see how I've broken that down: high youth unemployment, social environmental challenges, and lack of civic engagement. Please, next slide. And sorry, that is why I proposed the Empower Nigeria initiative. Sorry, next slide, next slide. Just gonna go up this. All right, so this is the output and service. This is my deliverables, and this is what I plan to give out. Now, the first one is the empowerment workshops. Organize workshops in schools and communities, which centers on focusing on life skills, career development, financial literacy, and environmental awareness. Now, I based all these in my success criteria because every output I give out, I have to have a success criteria, what I intend to achieve, and that is high participant attendance, engagement, and positive workout. Now I have the mentorship program connecting young people with experienced professionals, for knowledge transfer and all that. Please, next slide. All right, community service projects, which is to facilitate youth-led initiatives that address social and environmental issues. And how do we do that? By tree planting. You help the environment by planting trees, and we can do our own little way, by picking up litters on the floor and discarding them, So, and also National Youth Summit hosts an annual summit that bring experienced people to give their life story, to
Thank you
empower
very much,
youth.
Mr. Bauchi.
Okay, sorry.
So just a quick question. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you volunteered before for something like this?
Yeah, I have.
With which organization?
It's a Rotary Club organization. I did that before I did my youth service, and that was in Kaduna.
Rotary Tractor.
Sorry?
You are a Retractor.
No. That I did a voluntary job there while working there.
Oh,
as
okay.
a volunteer.
So you volunteered just once.
Yeah. And
What
okay.
are you? So this is what I'm asking here.
All right.
We have a lot of youth empowerment programs running in Nigeria currently.
Okay.
On the top of my head, I can count 18.
Sure.
Off the top of my head, without thinking about it, what are you bringing? What are you going to do differently that's going to assure that this project is a success?
I believe this project is a success because we have a lot of youth, and why I say I base this on that's why I put this success criteria here. There are so many youths that are unemployed, so many youths who don't have vocational training, who don't have any work to do, and that is the reason of this high unemployment in Nigeria. And how I believe this success will be, how I believe this project will be a success is when initiating this Empower Nigeria initiative, having these programs that I've put in place, having high attendance and all that. That's how I believe this project is going to be a success.
Sorry, I'm supposed to ask just one question, but I have a follow-up. In your budget, I'm not seeing anything that looks like a follow-up plan for these people. If you teach me how to sew and I still don't have the resources to get a sewing machine, that knowledge is a waste.
So
over time, I tend to forget, which means when I see another youth empowerment program, I go learn how to sew. What is the plan for your follow-up?
All right, so basically, all right, you want to sew, right? I'm teaching you how to sew. I have a program which teaches you how to sew, right? So we have a planned time for that, let's say 3 months. We are done with that 3 months, and that's why I have the scholarship and grants, which I plan to collaborate with NGOs. So that's from that scholarship, I tend to give out some funds to these people who have completed the training to start.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, let us imagine a world where there are no trees, a world where there are no forests, a world where our skies are black due to excess fossils and our water bodies are black due to pollutions. Good evening, everyone. My name is Prosper Ndi, proudly representing the Eastern Heartland, Imo State, at the Masters of Nigeria Pageant 2024. Growing up as a child, my dad normally says the environment is our only place of habitation, and we should do everything possible to protect and conserve it, not just for ourselves, but for the next generations to come. And I've grown to understand this topic, which led to my topic and pet project, the Green Movement. The Green Movement is a vital initiative that advocates for environmental conservation while promoting sustainable living. It also promotes sustainable tourism while improving our natural resources by reducing waste, water pollution, air pollution, and the rest. Please, next slide. The world we live right now is being faced with so many environmental hazards, which include plastic waste, air pollution, and deforestation. Next slide, please. Our mission statement is to advocate for conservation in our communities and country, support local communities, raise awareness, and foreign partnerships. And my breakdown for this project is community cleanups. I'll be going around. I've actually started this project. I did this in my school a few months ago, where I picked up 2,000 plastics around the school. And we are planning to do more. We'll be going around Nigeria to clean up some local communities. And the second one is the educational program, where we create awareness to educate the younger ones on the importance to conserve their environment. We have research rehabilitation, awareness campaign, tree planting, and wildlife conservation. Next slide, please. And my achievements so far. Over the past 1 year, I've carried my pet projects around Imo State, which started with me going to several schools, sharing waste bins and educating them about environmental conservation. And the next one, next slide please. The next one was the one I spoke about earlier, where I cleaned up my school, picked up about 2,000 plastics around Imo State University. And the last one was me visiting some tourist sites in Imo State to find out the problems we're facing and how we can solve it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Imo, you said you've done something like this before.
Yes, sir.
What was the reach on the kids? How many kids were you able to educate?
I actually did this in three different schools.
Okay.
3 primary schools and 1 nursery school.
Okay.
About the primary school is a public school. The primary school had about 50
Give me a round figure of the 3 schools.
Oh, that should
Even
be
if it's not
1,000
exact.
students.
1,000 students.
Yes,
How
sir.
much did it cost you to reach 1,000 students?
Nothing much, actually. I would say just 1,000 naira, because it's around my community, around Ore there.
So you did tree planting, plastic picking.
I've not done tree planting. Like I said, I carried out a movement where I shared waste bins and educated them about environmental conservation.
So sharing of waste bins among 1,000 students.
Yes.
Potential of 3 schools.
Yeah.
Potential 1,000 students cost 1,000 naira.
Yeah. The waste bin was sponsored. It wasn't my money. Yes, sir.
Besides speaking of this,
Yes, sir.
persons,
Yes, sir.
every element of choose to implement environmental conservation.
Media. A lot of us watch TV, listen to the radio.
Sorry for the shoot. How many states are in Nigeria?
36.
The program you carried out was in the states, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one of the places. So let's say I give you 5 million and I tell you don't pick up this, or you've not done before, right? You pick up this and you also educated the young ones. What else would you do?
For Imo State.
No.
Where?
General.
In general.
General impact. Because Nigeria is one. It's not just the United Nigeria.
Yeah.
So this government.
Okay. I actually carried out a discussion on Instagram, a program on Instagram where we discuss this this topic. There, we try to educate people. Apart from that, like you said, do not
I
educate.
know you said education, you said picking up dates. I know you told you are now mentor that can be done.
Yes, time is up.
Time's up. No worries.
Thank you.
Sorry. You said you should answer that particular question.
Can you ask the question again so I can understand?
Besides speaking of them, and educating the young ones in the state, what else can you do?
Okay, visiting some tourist sites, you find that some tourist sites that do not function. So you find out why they are no longer functioning and try to solve that problem. That's the questions.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, judges. Good evening, MON. Good evening, everyone watching. I hope you're having a good day. I am Udi Robinson Chukwemeka Misaiboy of Visas of Nigeria 2024. And this is my pet project proposal, which is MIND, which is Mental Health in Neighborhood Development. You might be asking how I came about this project. Yes, exactly half a decade ago, I started my community service as a counselor tester or communication facilitator, as it may be, and this was as a result of what I was facing at that time, which used to be confidential because I felt like there was no need to talk about it because my mental health was really messed up as at that time. But I have the courage now because I've worked on myself, and that is why I have the project. So my dad died June 16th, 2016, and as at that period I was really messed up, and there was nobody I could talk to because apparently my friends would always tell me, "You are a man, men don't cry. Keep it in check." So that brought about my advocacy, and this advocacy aims at reducing the stigma about mental health issues, increasing awareness, and ultimately providing for communities and the public to seek help and mental health resources. Next slide, please. Yeah. So I have 3 major objectives for this pet project, which is 1, increase awareness, 2, provide support, and 3, accessibility. One, which is the increased awareness. This is to educate the public or community on mental health issues and the necessity or the importance of mental health and mental well-being. 2, which is provide support. This is to establish a network resource where the public and community, they feel free to discuss about their mental health issues through open conversations. And 3, which is easy access to mentorship through social media, which are ultimately head on to producing my own mental health app. Because as we all know, in Africa, there is little to no mental health app where people are free to express themselves. And because the thing about mental health is that it comes in different ways, and most times you might not even know you are down, and most people don't want to come out and talk. So if there is an app where I can, or with my team and I can easily communicate to
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Bonnie. Yes. Mr. Bonnie.
Yes.
So you've listed the objectives of this project.
Yes.
yet to hear how practical steps of how you can achieve this.
Okay, thank you.
30 seconds.
Okay, so number one is workshops. Number two is educational campaigns. Workshop in the sense that I get flyers, I get designers, we put it out on social media to create awareness, and we bring people to this workshop. I know one thing about people, most times you can drag them through refreshment or reimbursement. So we get these people and we speak to them about this mental health awareness on how we can strategize for eradicating it.
All right, and then what is the plan? What is the plan in place for privacy? What is the plan in place for privacy? I mean, people are talking to you about their fears, their deepest fears. What is the plan in place for privacy?
Okay, so the first plan is we're going to hire and train volunteers and tell them the necessity of confidentiality. And there will be a strict placement of anyone who goes ahead or way out of that box.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to kick off this presentation by introducing myself. My name is Sunday Charles Oche. I am Mr. Benry. Good evening, everyone, my dear esteemed judges. Today, I stand before you not just as a contestant, but as an advocate to something that is so dear to my heart, which is putting smiles in the faces of Nigerians. Your dreams are valid. That is reminding Nigerians that their dreams are valid. Now, in Nigeria, we have limited opportunities. We have individuals that are talented, that need opportunities to showcase their dreams, but we don't have it. As a result, they go into various things like stealing, being a child, and so on. So this project is here to bring hope, is here to validate dreams and put smiles on the face of Nigerians. Next slide, please. Next slide. My mission is to create an avenue where Nigerians can reach their dreams regardless of their age, regardless of their situation or their background. And my vision is to see every Nigerian reaching their dreams legally, effortlessly, and so on. Next slide, please. Now, understanding the context. In Nigeria, we have limited opportunities, like I said. Now, this project aims to solve the problem, to create opportunities for Nigerians in various small places for them to reach their dreams, and this is going to also put smiles on their faces. Next slide, please. So how I intend to start this mission is going to start from where I was brought up, Oshodi, Lagos, because as they say, charity begins at home. So I intend to organize and establish a talent hunt, like a music hunt, maybe something small, dance competition, debate competition, and also, even if possible, gain a franchise from MON to start a very small pageantry in Oshodi. So this project will help to reduce and change the mind of citizens in Oshodi. So instead of doing what they don't want to do, they have the opportunity to face their dream and so on. Next slide, please. So there will be debate competition, street dance competition, there will even be music competition, and even little pageant competition. And this is going to put smiles on the faces of Nigerians, reminding them that their dreams are valid. Next slide. I would also embark on humanitarian outreach. So last year I was in Aba and we did something for the widows. So that day we gave them 1 carton of Indomie each. And if you see the smiles on their face, I said to myself, if 1 carton can give them that smile, if I have the money to give them 10 cartons, I will do that. Next slide, please. Then budget and resource allocation. I have my target audience, which are the youth, women, rural outreach, men, and the rest. Next slide, please.
Empowering Dreams and Program. So I have been opportune to work with an NGO in Aba, where we empower women and widowers. So with my knowledge, with the planning and everything, I can beat my chest that I can plan this, and also I am also a beneficiary of this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, you said you have or you want to have a pageant.
I want to have
a pageant.
No. Yes, like if I can get like maybe a franchise from them to start like a little pageant, maybe Mr. Oshodi.
How would you go about this? How would you start?
First, reaching out to MON, telling them my plan, getting a team and planning, using the media to pass this message in Oshodi, because in Oshodi we have influencers, using flyers, using DJs and cars to go to the streets to create awareness and to attract talented people in the area. Thank you.
Mr. Benway, what do you think is the most pressing issue that is stopping these people in, for lack of better words, in a more unfortunate condition from realizing their dreams? And how can you tackle that issue?
For me, it's because there are no opportunities. Growing up, we have Martina dancers, we have Buddha Ultimate Search, we have various opportunities, but now we can't find them. So this advocacy aims to create opportunities where these talented Nigerians in this small rural region can come and show their talent and reach their dream. When I was growing up, I always wanted to be a dancer.
That was the answer to my question. Yeah. So a follow-up question: why do you feel the need to start something new and not continue working with the agency with the foundation you're already collaborating with?
It was a voluntary job. So the foundation is just based on outreach, and it happens once in a year, which is December. And this is not enough, because Nigerians need opportunities. If not, they will go astray in doing various things they don't want to do. Like I said, I have a friend, we do dance when we were small, but now he's a tout. He always wants to go for Martina dancer.
Thank you very much.
See him now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon, beautiful contestants. All protocols duly observed. So, my pet project is focused on suicide prevention and clinical health care. Now, what is suicide? Suicide is the intentional take of your own life, which is common among youths. It's so the primary goal of this project is to prevent when young adults feel safe to express their emotions without feeling the need to be shy when they're expressing their own. Without feeling the need to express their own emotions. So now, according to Abraham Maslow, he spoke about the hierarchy of needs. And one of the hierarchy of needs here is sense of belongingness. Now, what sense of belongingness? Sense of belongingness is an individual belonging to society. So if an individual here, or let me use a company as an example. Let me say Mr. Imo doesn't feel belong in this group. He's just on his own, staying away and all of that. He can have suicidal thoughts. That's normal. Because there are a lot of people that smile to hide the pain that when people don't observe. That's why I tell people when I'm talking, I tell them that a lot of people that makes everybody laugh. A lot of people that just keeps quiet, that wants to always keep smiling at people's face. Pay more attention to that person. Because that person might be expressing his own world, hiding his own problems by projecting it on someone else, like making them able to smile, making them lively and all of that. Those are the kind of people that you should watch out for. And people that are also quiet, and even people that are also loud, you might not be able to detect that. But with my experience in, it's like I graduated with sociology, so I have an ability to observe the world and to read the room, my environment and where I stay also. So, and many people don't know there are different types of suicide actually. If I'm to ask a contestant here, we need to know different types of suicide and how to start from. So we have egoistic suicide, we have anonymous suicide, we have fatalistic suicide, and we have altruistic suicide. This was according to Durkheim, a sociological father. So egoistic suicide is where an individual is left alone. It feels like an outsider. Once an individual can feel like an outsider, like I don't belong, which I've explained about Abraham Maslow, this can lead to suicide. And another one is anomic. This is when a person experiences a level of stress and frustration. This can be due to financial losses and all of that. The next one is fatalistic suicide. This is a means of where some might believe that they are destined in such conditions. This can be as a result of slavery, where they feel like this is where I'm destined to be. So I rather take my life to escape from this particular problem. And the last one is altruistic suicide, where the social group involvement is too high. An example is where the plane crashed into the World Trade Center. They felt that was the need for the nation's problem. So the next slide. So the objective of this project is to create safe spaces, promote open communication, provide access to resources, improve sensitization among adults, young adults, and social prevention, enlightenment of community leaders. When you create a safe space for individuals to speak, they feel welcome. And I'm sure most of people know that this June is about men's mental health. I'm sure most people know that. This is because men in society have been segregated. They don't pay much attention to men in society. Thank you very much for stopping people.
Businesses open communication, resources. You said provide access to resources. That was not our objective. Which number three? Number one was creating space. Number two was open communication. Number three was letting community leaders. I did not put that providing access to resources.
So when I say creating a safe space can be like one-on-one conversation with someone. Like for me, as an example, I always say when I'm going through something, the funny thing is I don't even tell. Sometimes I don't tell most of my close friends because I feel like I'm going to feel judged. So I just don't go and tell a random person. Someone that I don't really speak to each person when I came out with this and give me better advice and coming.
Thank you.
If it's waiting right now,
Yes.
I have to process today. What's the date?
Today's
I give 5 million students. What I want are you to do for the end of the month? So,
Okay, what I'm going to do is I have a very good relationship. I have 5 million. I have a very good relationship with my lecturers and people that are versed in therapies. So I won't really spend much on calling them to help me speak to people who are more educated, people who have licenses in this, who know more about suicide and all of that. So I'm going to the 5 million will just be used to rent maybe or get resources, like organize something like a football match, because I'm focusing on men because men are more avoided. So I can organize a sport activity, extracurricular activities that will bring people without knowing that this is what I'm coming to talk about. So when I call them for this, they are coming with the knowledge that yes, I'm coming to. Alright, thank you very much.
Hi, good day everyone. My name is Henry Kenna. I'm proudly representing Jigawa State, and first of all, I want to apologize for the fact that my hard copy is not available at the moment, but with the few time I have, I could just briefly give a summary of my pet project. Alright, so in brief, my pet project is what I call the ESR project. ESR, it stands for Education, Sanitation and Recycling. Now, why this project? This project, now what's the meaning of ESR project? Now, this project aims at educating, recycling, and sanitizing some rural parts or suburban parts of Lagos State, like for example, Makoko, Ajegunle, and other suburban rural areas of Lagos State to start with. So now, how do we go about this project? Okay, how do we go about this project? Now, this project aims at offering free education to kids in the rural area or suburban regions of Lagos State. Free basic education by mode of free education with mode of payment as plastics or plastic bottles. Now, how does this work? So I and my team we are planning on setting up, even if it's a makeshift location for this basic education. So we'll start by our mode of payment here. We're not collecting cash as a school fees, but what we are collecting for payment is plastic bottles. Now, how does this work? If you go to most of these rural or suburban areas, you find out that they are mostly dirty. That's what's the point. They are mostly dirty, and 95% of these dirts are plastic waste all around. So now, how do we clean up this waste, educate these kids, and recycle most of this plastic at the same time? This is what my project is all about. So our mode of payment, for example, when you're coming to school, for example, you might be asked to bring 50 plastic bottles as your mode of payment. So when you bring these 50 plastic bottles, you submit them. My time will collect 50 plastic bottles each round from all our kids and all that. We recycle these plastics and we use this recycled money we get from this recycling to run our basic education program. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, so we collect plastic bottles from the kids as their mode of school fees or payment. We gather these plastic bottles, and when we recycle them, the funds we get from this recycling, we use it to run our school and our basic education. So it's basic education for now. So it won't be too much on our heads and all that. And to start this, we don't need a bank breaking capital. It's something I myself can fund, and as a graduate of as a well-trained teacher from the prestigious University of Lagos. Okay.
Thank you very much. Mr. Adigo, thank you very much. Okay, so in the absence of anything concerning this, that brings us to the end of the pet project defense for the Masters of Nigeria 2024. A round of applause for yourself. Thank you.